know. I know. No, you don't know.
Everyone agrees that I'm the only one who's not wrong.
Right or wrong, they're back. Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Hardy, the Red Sox again lost last night. They are very bad. They are 10 games under 500, and the fans are getting pissed off.
Yeah, and we were discussing about Craig Breslow and how long he is for this world, and Randy Elfman was out there speaking with some fans, and I think this fan is probably maybe in line with removing Craig Breslow sooner than later.
Is this the worst Red Sox team you've seen in your entire life?
Dude, I've been here. I've been watching this team since 1973.
He sounds like tired Maz.
Worst
Sleepy Maz?
Yeah, like Maz after like a 3-day bender.
in this team since 1973.
Yeah.
Man, there's no worse team than this one. Guarantee me. I've seen a lot of Red Sox teams here. This is the worst team. And that's what you get. You go out there and get a ass general manager, you're going to get this. You're going to get garbage. You got to go out there and get a good manager for this club who knows how to deal with other managers.
Yeah, you got to be able to deal with other managers.
Yeah.
I guess he's talking about dealing with other general managers. He's talking about a general manager. Because I don't know why your manager would have to deal with other managers, except for maybe if you have a conference of some kind.
Yeah.
Where you guys all get together to discuss the issues of the day. But good for him for saying the F word 1,000,000 times and sounding like a very tired Maserati. I applaud him for that. Yesterday was the 98.5 the Sports Hub golf tournament, which they annoyingly call Who's Your Caddy, which I've never been able to stand. When it first started, I went, oof, that one hurts. A fun pun in the name of the golf tournament. You know, Who's Your Daddy? And then what's worse is it wasn't even an original thought.
No, it was from a movie that came out in 2007.
Yeah, Who's Your Caddy? Which they just called it Who's Your... Like, it's almost inexplicable why they did that.
I think that was the holdover name from WBCN.
Oh, so BCN came up with... No, but it was the holdover name from WBCN, but the WBCN called it Who's Your Caddy?
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that didn't start in 06, because they didn't have... I moved here in 06, and they didn't have a golf tournament the first year I was there. Now, the second year, whatever year it was BCN, was an absolute crap show when we did it, and it was awful fun. But we had girls, like, on the carts with us.
Was that a Wayland?
I don't remember. I didn't remember the next day. I don't know. I just know Crash ended up with a signed Celtics basketball from the silent auction, right. And he doesn't like basketball or the Celtics. He just got all drunk and caught up in the moment and bought some signed Celtics basketball. I remember Adolfo went into a pond, and I wasn't there when he did that, but everyone was really pissed off. And I know every year after that, we had to play with not the general manager, with our PD and the PD of WBZ AM.
Yeah.
We had to play with those two guys.
The first year we held it as a sports station, you know, you had Zolak and Gresh riding around with handles of scotch in the golf cart. They tried to run me over on an opposite fairway type of thing, and that's when the hammer came down. Well, you guys have to play over here.
Well, no, but the first year with the Gresh and Zoe, they had to have been the ones that were the problem, because they only let us do the golf tournament on our own accord once. And then from that time on, they wanted us. I mean, I guess we really screwed up the golf course and everything else. I guess they really didn't like it. So I would have to assume. But I mean, we had probably 40 people that weren't in the golf tournament hanging out. You know, the guy that ran the drawbridge. What's his name? No, panty drinking contest.
Gunner.
I mean, like the gunner there. We had all these
just
girls.
hanging around the clubhouse.
Yeah. But we had like girls
bebopping and scatting around.
We had girls like standing on the cart while we were moving. Like it was because a lot of these rock station things, they would have in Atlanta strip club. They allowed strip club advertising.
Oh yeah.
So you would have strippers at everything. Like I had a softball team that was 90% strippers. Like someone has said, "Do you want to join the softball league?" And I said, "Yeah." And I called the Masters, not the golf tournament, deep in a tradition of racial inequality. I called the strip club, the Masters, and I'm like, "Do you guys want in on this?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they 10 girls to every softball game. It was fantastic. So we had to, we got our own girls to do it, and it was a lot of fun. But they put the kibosh on that quick. But now it is a very, it's a nice affair. There's no one pooing under the stairs like the one year.
That guy also did a lot of bidding in the live auction. The guy who defecated under the stairs. I didn't even want to bring up the name of the place. They were very nice to us. We haven't been back there in many years. When we were doing the live auction, I was saying things like, all right, who wants this Tully Bantacane signed helmet? We'll start at $250. Who wants this thing? The guy would just raise his hand. I'm like, all right, there's $250. Who wants it more than this guy? $300. All right, do you want it? For $300, raised his head. He bid on everything. He was so drunk he didn't even realize he was bidding. He's like, I want it. I want it.
Yeah.
And then he went out and pooped underneath the grand staircase that led up to the ballroom above the dining area.
Yeah. Which I didn't know even in the year following it that he'd done that.
He called in.
And he came up to me one time and apologized. And I said, this is completely unnecessary. I don't care at all that you took a crap under the stairs.
Yeah, but you know why he was doing it.
No, but I didn't think it was something that he needed to do even in the realm of that. I don't think I needed any amends or anything like that. What do I care that he crapped under the stairs?
It's not.
Well, just me in particular, it doesn't bother me that he crapped under the stairs.
Well, he probably would.
Kind of funny.
He probably would have apologized to the golf course, but he's banned. He can't even call him, much less set foot on the property.
Yeah, it just wasn't. I understand the reasoning behind it, but I wanted to assure him there was no reason to apologize to me. I'm almost glad that he did it.
If it's going to be detrimental to yourself or others, you don't make that amends. you don't go up there and apologize, but there's a warrant out for you.
Was there a warrant out for him?
I think they were pretty upset.
Well,
I don't think they called the cops, but they were not happy.
Well, I could imagine not being happy, but
You mentioned Zolak and how he got after it in years past. Zolak does not play golf anymore, but he is there doing the live broadcast with Beetle, and that gives them the opportunity to heckle people who are teeing off behind him on the first hole behind the broadcast.
Get out of the way.
Nipples are sticking out.
Does Barth's shoes look way bigger than him?
Well, that's Barth. What's this? Here's Barth. For all you NFL people
No, you can't get it?
Here's your NFL expert.
No.
Can't get it? Let's see here. Listen to it.
Newman. No, that's
Newman.
That's Noonan.
What?
No, see,
Newman?
It's a Seinfeld reference.
Of course. Which is appropriate during a golf
Or a
tournament.
Basic Instinct thing, too, which Newman, of course, in Basic Instinct during the
Oh, yeah.
During the interview
He's
scene.
He's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
worked up. There was also an incident reported. I did not hear about this, but found out about it later listening to the fill-ins on the afternoon show about an incident on the golf course yesterday. Somebody threw a club, presumably in anger.
Who cares?
A member of the staff. Well, I'll tell you who cares. Jay Stu, Matt McCarthy, and I think Michael Hurley.
Michael
was
Hurley
in.
was
Yes,
on yesterday.
yes.
Yes, I've heard this clip.
I've never seen Jim throw a club, though, and I've golfed with Jim a million times.
Now, that was what was interesting about this to me is that McCarthy had played with Jim Murray so many times.
Yeah.
That's what I found interesting about
Bit of
that.
an odd couple.
It is an odd couple. It's like, oh, look at you with your tattoos and attitude. Let me teach you some manners. It's My Fair Lady. Just get you out here and guss you up, walk with some books on your head.
What are you doing with all them drugs? Get high on life.
Be more, let's learn a little word called discretion. Let's be a little more discreet.
So, yeah, I would say that because Felger isn't here, that Felger is a potential candidate for this because he can't take his anger and frustrations if he had a bad day on the golf course
Out on the
show.
Well, and come to find out a little bit later through more investigation.
Quote, text from somebody who was there. Quote, it was Felger, unquote.
Apparently, Felger was the one who threw the club in anger.
Yeah, but I don't understand why that's a big deal. Like, if you threw a club, so you toss a club, okay. I don't understand how that got back to someone.
There's kind of backhanding your club up against the cart or against your bag, and then there is launching your club down the fairway.
Right. Or
I don't know which one it was.
Breaking your club over your leg is interesting because I've never played with anyone that's done that before.
So one of our sales guys, I think it was Christian Pedro, showed me his driver. He let one of the street teamers hit a shot for him out on one of the holes and broke the head right off the shaft. Like he had the broken club that he showed me. He's like, yeah, I let somebody hit a shot with my ball.
Did he break the club head on the ball?
No, I'm sure he pounded it into the ground trying to hit the ball. I mean, yeah. That is
a really really unique lack of coordination, eye-hand coordination, to not be able to get the golf club not to snap off the ground, to break it.
Yeah.
That is a severe underhit.
Two things need to be mentioned here. Number one, our playing partner yesterday, who's friend of the family, had a very generous donation to Special Olympics in order to secure a spot with the three of us. CJ Winchenbaugh, who is a rising junior at Georgetown.
Yes,
on the golf team, great guy. Decent player. Kind of knew right away.
Yeah, his first tee shot, which went about 305 yards.
Yeah, this is like 290. Let's not oversell it.
And on one, how far did that one go?
So far that the group in front of us, which I believe included Bob Beers.
Yes, Ryan, Bob.
Looked back incredulously like, what's up with that?
The number you're looking for, and Fred and I made sure we checked it, 326. That's how far the drive was.
Yeah,
on
he
one.
hit a drive, and he goes, I got that one. So, yes, he hit one 326.
The last one that I measured was 311. Hell yeah.
That's right.
Hey.
But, I mean, that one, he was putting his drives into places that I have never seen on that golf course.
It's real easy when all you have to do is pitch to a green.
So we ended up, look, as a group, 11 under, which was good enough for a four-way tie for second place. TJ from Parker's Pub, his team ended up winning again at 13 under par. But out of the 61 shots that we recorded yesterday, how many do you think were CJ's? Like reasonably. Think about, because
35.
Oh,
I would say more than that.
I would say 45.
I don't know, because you're putting in putts, you're putting in.
Oh yeah, you know what? Yeah, you might be closer on that, Fred.
I think that we probably used 15 of his drives, 14 or 15 of his drives, probably 14, and then there's putts and approach shots. Like, I mean, there's a lot of. They're more than half. At least half. We were our shots. I mean, there's four people, but the thing is that for John and I, it was kind of like
we were passengers for most of the day.
Well, but also it's like what are you doing? Like it's hard to get into it. Like when you're just.
It doesn't matter what I do here,
right? Exactly. I'm just dropping.
Like I hit one of the best drives I've hit in a long time, and then CJ steps up and beats me by about 50 yards.
Right.
So I mean, okay.
Well, you're very weak, Jonathan.
It's just very old. I had one really good chip of 17 down that hill. That was good. I used a couple of my putts in that one drive on two that we used.
Boy, you remember everything.
Well, there were so few of them. I used like a handful of mine. It was like patting myself on the back.
Yeah. Taking mental notes out there. My goodness.
All right. For his tee shots, I just went through in my head. Let's count them up.
Oh, my God.
You don't ever complain to me again.
We used them on 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 1, and 4. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We used 11 of his tee shots.
Wow, that's less than I thought.
Yeah, so that's less than I thought too. So I would say that we used about half his shots. How the hell do you remember the tee shots?
You were keeping track?
Okay, well,
in the cars?
We'll go through the entire round if you want to. 5 was the par 4. You went left. I went left. He put it down there. First cut of rough, but his was still further. 6 was the par 3. You guys missed the green. I was on the front part of the green. He stuck it back there pretty close to the pin, so we did that.
Over the mound on the
Number
right.
7
yes.
is the par 4. You went right. John went right. I caught mine a little heavy, little drop kick. He bombed his down there. 8 is the par 5 where, wait a second. We did use.
You were writing all of this down?
No, he
what
has
we
it
were
off the
doing
top of his head.
We used his drives on 8, 9, and 10, even though I put us in nice position on 10. On the
How do you remember
on the
all
par
this
4.
stuff? In all honesty,
11 the par 3. I nutted a 6-iron. We used my tee shot on.
Nutted when he met that kid. Got so excited that he was meeting a real golfer.
It's interesting. CJ walked up to me before we started, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm glad to be here. I listen to you guys, whatever." Hardy walked in maybe 20 seconds into our conversation, and that was it. That was it. After about 5 minutes of standing there awkwardly, I'm like, I'll see you guys later.
Right.
Anyway, 12 was the par 4. I hit a good drive. It was down the left. That's when he unleashed the 311-yard drive. Put us in nice position. 13, waist area on the right. I think, Fred, you were okay there. I was okay there. He bombed one down there. We essentially had chips. I even did the hybrid chip into that green on the par 4. That was insanely long. 14.
All right.
Again, I'm not done.
We don't have to do this exercise.
Okay,
I trust your judgment on this whole thing.
Remarkable.
Well, he was a great guy to play with. Really fun.
So,
what was unfortunate, Fred, just very quickly, you did have to leave. Would have liked you there for the silent auction. People actually look forward to your unique brand of commentary when trying to push some of these items at the silent at the live auction.
The best is when I was making fun of the Revolution tickets. Stacey James, who's the PR person for the Revolution, was standing right there.
Not great.
Who cares? That's real. Who cares? I was like, all right, what do you want? What are we going to pretend this is a big deal? I didn't feel bad about that actually at all. I just thought it was funny that he was.
That's what
there.
people missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the credit of the station, they got you up there. They had food right away. They got you up there right away, but they got you up there before I thought you were going to be up there. So I didn't want to leave during the middle of the auction, make a big production about leaving.
Yeah, Dawn did a great job.
So but I wanted to mention is some lunatic was out with the midday show, some caller was a real lunatic. And he comes up to the car. He didn't play in the tournament. And he comes up to the cart, and he goes, and Scott's like, "Hey, it's Fred and John from the morning show." He thinks he's getting us. And the guy has no clue who we are. And he goes to me, I hate to tell you this. Don't get mad, but I liked it better when you were on at the nighttime. He goes, I would put my head down and you loved me to sleep. And he's babbling and babbling and babbling. I'm not even being mean. I mean, I could be much meaner. And I go, what's interesting about that is I've never worked nights in this town, ever. And he goes, and it did not faze him one bit. He didn't hear a word that I said. He said it right to him. It was talking right to him.
Yeah,
it was of no consequence what I was saying to him. He had no even false recognition of any words coming out of my mouth.
We were on our way to the parking lot. That was right at the end of the round, and that was one that stuck, Hardy. That was one that 20 minutes later, can you believe that?
Yeah, it's Scott's trying to get us because I guess the guy loves the midday show, and he's this lunatic caller, and he's Scott thinks that he's going to be all overwhelmed with meeting us. And he not only has no clue who we are, he thinks he knows who we are. And we're this imaginary person that there's no scenario that he could even really be talking about. I understand that people don't know us, obviously, even people in the tournament. The kid that we played with barely knew who we were. And he probably didn't know who we were before he started playing with us. He probably did a little research right before he came out.
Good for him, Georgetown kid. He studied.
Yeah, exactly. But my God, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Did you ask him about that club that Phil Perry pissed you off about? Yeah,
I did ask him about it right
sorry,
away.
We're late.
I asked him right away. All right, listen, Tyler Andrews is a local guy. He broke the record climbing up to Everest. He did it in less than 10 hours. And we were talking about this when it popped up on the TV a couple weeks ago, and we're going to talk to him in just a moment.
IYKYK. which obviously YD. Okay?
Toucher and Hardy, mornings on the Sports Hub.
We were on the air a couple weeks ago, and something just flashed on TV. We have news on in the background, and with no audio, it said that a guy had climbed Mount Everest in 9 hours and 55 minutes. Now, Hardy and I have both read the book Into Thin Air by John Krakauer. Oh, John has too.
Yeah.
And so it's about these, like, the problem of climbing Everest and how harrowing it is, and the stages one has to go through. And,
it's a month-long process.
Yeah, and like all the deaths and dead bodies and all this stuff that you pass by. So when I saw someone had done it in 9 hours and 55 minutes, my first thought was, well, so much for that book. I mean,
all the acclimatizing and base camp and all that stuff.
Like, you've taken something that was this like big heroic endeavor for people, and you've basically said, this is easy to me. And it turns out that Tyler Andrews, the man that broke it, is from around here.
Yes.
From the Concord area. So, Tyler, good on Ryan Beaton for getting him. Tyler, you're in Japan.
I am in Japan. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, we appreciate you coming on. You're living just an international life of adventure, I would assume?
Yeah, a little bit of adventure here after the fact, a little bit of relaxing.
Okay, well, all right. So you're an ultra marathoner, correct? How many of these ultra marathons have you done?
Oh gosh, I've lost count. Dozens.
Okay, what made you?
Well, what makes an ultra marathon?
Yeah,
number
okay,
one?
Yeah, fair enough.
So an ultra marathon race is anything that's longer than the traditional 26.2 mile marathon distance. That's the technical definition.
What's the longest one you've ever done?
I've run 100 miles.
Okay. So what is the motivation? Like, what in you said, I have to keep pushing this, and this is going to be rewarding to me?
Yeah, it's a good question, and I think it's funny because the truth is it's basically the same motivation that I had as a 17-year-old on the cross country team back in Concord, which was I fell in love with this process of just training harder and seeing results and getting better and trying to find my own limits as a person and an athlete. And, that led me to running in college. I ran at Tufts University in Somerville, and then, to a career as a professional marathoner and then ultra marathoner, and then starting to run up mountains. And it was really just always looking for something to push my body in a different way, try a different challenge. And, eventually that leads to Everest.
Okay. So you go ahead, Junior.
Okay. So I want to talk about everything that we can, but Everest specifically, from what we read and what we know, it's this process of living at base camp for a while. You climb up to Camp 1, you come back down. You acclimatize up to Camp 2, and virtually every ascent every summit push starts from Camp 4, and that's when you make your push. So I want to know, number one, how long you can't just show up there, flying to Kathmandu, walk over and climb. There had to be some process of getting used to it. But you started that day from base camp, went up in less than 10 hours. How much time did it take you to get ready before you made that push that day?
Well, it depends where you start. It was years and years of preparation, really. And that particular, season or training block, I would say was, 6 months. And my time in Nepal was about a month and a half before that. So, in your intro, yes, it still is very much an expedition and a process of getting over there, getting ready, acclimatizing on the mountain to the altitude. So yes, it was only a 9 hour and 55-minute summit push, but at the same time, I had been in Nepal training on other mountains for almost 2 months before I even left base camp.
Okay, but how come you can do that
and we can't?
No. It's not that. It's like you have to understand. Like, this doesn't happen. I just looked at the TV and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this has to be wrong. Like, I can't recall another time, Tyler, in 20 years here that I've looked at it and gone, like, I can't believe this is happening.
People start from Camp 4 and still die trying to get to the top.
Right. Like, so, in a way, it was like unfathomable to me that you did this. So, like, why can you do this so quickly? Do it in under 10 hours what takes other people like days and days and days. Why was it not as harrowing for you, and how can you physically do that?
Well, it's very flattering, and I appreciate it. But I think I'd say there's two sides to it. One, it's nature versus nurture, and so part of it is, there's an old joke in endurance sport that the way that you become an elite athlete is by picking the best parents. So partly I just have my parents to thank for my, genetic makeup of whatever it is that for some reason allows me to move decently well at high altitude. And then the other is just preparation. I've been training as a professional endurance athlete for almost 20 years now. And it's what I do. It's what I do for a living. It's what I wake up and think about every single day. And it's a tremendous amount of work and sacrifice. And I love it. And it's what makes me happy and fulfilled. But at the same time, it is very, very hard work. And I think just getting to the mountain and being really, really fit, that's a big part of it.
Okay, so some people who climb Everest say, yeah, it was taxing. It was, top of their bucket list, but it wasn't their most challenging. It wasn't their most harrowing. It's not the thing they're most proud of. You've done a lot of other ascents like this, Mount Fuji and places on other continents. Where does this ascent of Everest rank? And are there other things that you say, actually, no, this other thing was more impressive?
I think when I zoom out and look at the entire process of going from, when I really started thinking about climbing Everest to when I actually went to the summit, I would say it was the hardest and the thing that I'm most proud of, just because, this was actually the seventh attempt that I made on the mountain over the last 2 years. This was not an easy project. It was very hard physically and mentally, but also just logistically. Everest is so complex. There's so many moving pieces. It's so crowded. The weather is so complicated to deal with that not only do you need to be really, really well prepared, but you also need a lot of kind of just luck from the mountain and the weather and things like that. So I think that in retrospect makes it that much more fulfilling that, it took so long, it took so many tries, and then to finally be able to get it done.
Okay, so you mentioned crowded. Like when you're climbing up that mountain, are there a bunch of other people doing the same thing and you're just kind of like running by them?
Not really, and that's what makes it challenging because, you've probably seen these viral photos of Mount Everest where you have literally hundreds of people standing in line trying to get to the summit. I cannot get by those people on a normal day. So what I have to do is sit in base camp and, kind of twiddle my thumbs and sweat anxiously for about 3 weeks while all those people are climbing the mountain, and then just pray that there is a good weather window at the very end of the season. And this year, it literally was the very last day of the season. We were the last people on the summit. And, I am not known for being a tremendously patient person. And so that took a lot of practice and mindfulness and things like that. But it's worth it because when I climbed, there was hardly anybody on the mountain. I almost had it entirely to myself.
Getting to the top, great. But as we all know, you still got to get back down. At what point during the entire journey do you think, okay, I've got this? Was it not until you arrived back at base camp, or was there a point earlier where you say, okay, I'm gonna be able to do this and survive it?
I definitely let myself celebrate a little bit on the summit. I spent probably 20 minutes up there, and I was able to radio down to base camp. I was able to talk to my partner there, our base camp staff, and I was even able to talk to my parents all the way from Massachusetts. They were on speakerphone, calling onto the radio. So that was wonderful. But then, like you said, you're not done until you get all the way back down to base camp. So it was very much, blinders back on, the focus was back on, after that point. And then the descent is actually where most accidents happen in the mountains. And so that was the part that I would say even more careful and more cognizant of what I was doing. And I really didn't let up that focus until, I was back at base camp and stopped to watch.
How long did it take you to get down?
The round trip was 16 hours and 32 minutes. So, just over 6.5 hours.
And you didn't have to take a nap. You did that all. Impressive. I know you have to go.
I wanted to take a nap.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know you have to go, but just real quickly, is anyone like angry with you? Because like by doing this, you've kind of diminished. I'm not kidding. You've kind of diminished like the cachet that comes with summiting Everest. It used to be this thing that billionaires could go like, hey, like, look what I did. And
or maybe all the guide groups that say, no, you can't make it up without, doing it with us and spending $100,000.
Do you think that your accomplishment in any way has done that?
No, I don't. I hope not. I hope if anything, I'm inspiring some people to get out and be in the mountains. I think Everest has maybe gotten a little bit of a bad rap for kind of turning into a little bit of a circus out there. But I do think that, of all the people, I met so many people on the mountain at base camp, and I think most of them are there for the right reasons. They're there exactly for the same reason I am, which is, to push themselves and push their own limits. And I think it's really all about what's relative to you as a person, and your experience. And I think that being up there, being in the mountains, being in the Himalaya can be a really positive and transformative experience for anybody, whether you're running up it in one day or whether you're spending, a month kind of doing the more traditional climbing route. I think it can be a really powerful experience regardless.
I'm inspired, Tyler. I'm going to go to the top of Blue Hill today, and I'm going up the ski slope
There
side.
you go.
I'm going up the treacherous ski slope route. I'm not taking the paved road.
He lives in the Honey Pot, which is where the weather gets very extreme.
You know about the
Canton
Honey
area.
Pot in Canton. You know all about it, Tyler.
That's right, Tyler.
I have heard of it.
All right. No, you haven't. All right, Tyler Andrews. Listen, congratulations, man. It's
so cool.
Thank you.
It's very cool. It was truly an amazing feat, and thank you so much for talking to us today.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Tyler.
Yeah.
We appreciate it as well. All right, there you go. The great Tyler Andrews.
What do you think he's going to do next? You just climbed the highest mountain in the world. What's the challenge now? I wonder.
Why didn't you ask him, John?
Well, you guys were rolling. I'm not interrupting you guys.
I could have talked to him for a very long time because Hardy was right to pivot it because we want to get into the Everest thing. We didn't have forever with him. But the thing is that I just want to know. I'm very interested in the motivation of running 100 miles.
Well, especially when you hear about these ultra marathoners. I was reading about one this morning. This woman got lost in the desert on one of these, like crazy, Saharan things. I think it was a woman, whoever it was, that said, "Okay, well, this is it. I don't want to die like this, so I'm gonna slit my own wrists." They were so dehydrated they couldn't get any fluid to come out of their body.
Right. Yeah. She couldn't even kill herself, and then which has got to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you've made the decision to slit your wrists and then you can't even kill yourself. It's like a hell or something. But yeah, but it's just that there's 20 of you and you decided to do something that is arguably not even good for you. And the motivation of pushing yourself for no reason, right? You don't need food. This is not a survival thing. You're just kind of pushing yourself just to push yourself. It's very interesting to me. And, I've listened to several books on the subject, meaning 3. So if you have any questions.
Yeah, just to direct them to
and
Fred.
you can't get Tyler, ask me because I'm a bit of an armchair expert. In fact, I think I'll start a podcast about it. And preach to everyone about how
we
I
should
know
have
more
dropped
than
the
that.
real lingo on him. What about the Khumbu Icefall? Was that particularly treacherous this season?
I was just impressed that you fly into Kathmandu. You have much better memory than I do.
Well, you got to read the book, not just listen to it.
I read Into Thin Air. They didn't have audiobooks except for CD back then. I read that book. I read. I'm always reading.
I know.
I just listen to the nonfiction when I'm walking the dog. Don't worry about me.
I'm a reader too.
I can do it. I can see what a bunch of images together can make out things. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. Big show on the way.
Need a little help getting started in the morning?
It's very dangerous.
They've got the experts.
So, no.
Toucher and Hardy.
No.
On the Sports Hub.
Big day today as our fart monitors have arrived. And we know that Adolfo is getting one and Nick is getting one. We'll get into all of that in just a moment. We have the good doctor that is running the fart study out of University of Maryland has sent us the particulars. And so we will have that for you. It's interesting with the Knicks game last night. As a kid, I remember when the Knicks had Ewing kind of pulling for them when they would be in the finals. I don't know if it was because they were in the Eastern Conference and I had a predilection to the Eastern Conference because I lived in a city where there was Eastern Conference team. I don't know.
I think we all just like Patrick Ewing.
I loved Patrick Ewing at Georgetown when I was a little kid because Georgetown was obviously a phenomenon and people, which is pretty funny now is that people were walking around with Georgetown memorabilia on.
God, here, especially when because you went to high school.
Because you guys
here.
were so good to him.
I know. Boston was not good to him. I
stuff.
know. Boston was not good to him. But the Georgetown paraphernalia around here in the mid-'80s was ridiculous.
Yeah, so if you are, younger than, I guess late 40s, you can't imagine a world where people are walking around in all. It just seems absurd now that Georgetown would be a brand that people wore. Like, I had a Georgetown sweatshirt. I didn't even know where Georgetown was. I had no idea what the hell was going on. But Patrick Ewing was such a huge star. And, that team was in those great, NCAA finals games. The Villanova game where everyone was high on cocaine. It was from Villanova at Pickney and stuff like that. A big disaster of a team, but they ended up winning that. I had no idea where Villanova was. I had no idea what the hell was going on, but I was like obsessed with Patrick Ewing.
I just liked it because he normalized the idea of wearing a T-shirt underneath your basketball jersey so I could hide my skinny, spindly arms.
But the thing is that if you look back, very tight T-shirts, almost like a second skin.
Yeah, well, mine were not tight, but still it could cover up some of my, scrawniness.
Shireman is the real hero now because he's like a fat kid in the pool with a T-shirt on. Shireman has got the baggy white T-shirt. Like, he is not. We had a writer on, remember? And he was like, Shireman's like Ewing. And I'm like, oh, no. No, Ewing had like a girl's small on. It was like ripping. It was almost Hoganing off of him. It was almost like the Hulkster in full Hulk mode. It was like ripping apart. Mm-hmm. So I'm with you in the shirt underneath the jersey was a look that everyone emulated. But I think the way we were doing things was a little different than they were at Georgetown. But I got to tell you, oh, boy, was I happy that they lost last night. That I don't know how they've managed to make that team so unlikable. But I do. It's the fans. And again, we do this every year. It seems that we have this conversation. But New York is like the definition of a cosmopolitan city. It's the definition of a big market. And for some reason, everyone gets all giddy and dumb about the Knicks. And I just don't know why there isn't that fatalism that I enjoy so much from good fan bases. This good fatalism that everything's going to fall apart and you're not. It's almost that shock. I remember when the Rangers won that cup. Like 94. There was almost like this like idea of like shock that I can't believe this really happened.
Well, you got to remember too, it was double that because the Knicks were in the NBA Finals at the same time the Rangers were in the Stanley Cup Finals. So there was no fatalism from Knicks fans, and then it was the other way for Rangers fans who had been waiting a long time.
It's just like they're dancing around, and the fans are dancing around, and we're going to sweep, and then you hear them call in, and Brunson's the best Knick that's ever lived, and, like, what? Why do you think the Knicks are winning this? Like, what makes you so sure? If you're such a big... That's the thing. If you're such a big fan of the Knicks... You should be walking into these games like crapping your pants.
Exactly.
Knowing that something's probably going to go wrong.
How dare you call yourself a Knicks fan and walk around with the default mood of celebration?
There's really no difference between the Knicks and the Jets. The Jets won the Super Bowl in '69, and I think the Knicks
73 was
73.
Yep.
So there's really no difference. You've made the NBA Finals is the equivalent of an AFC Championship game. The Jets have been to 3 AFC Championship games in my lifetime. But, like, the idea of them winning a Super Bowl is absurd. That's a good point I just made. So I'm a Jets fan. Knicks fans should be like Jet fans. They really should. The Knicks have been terrible this century. They have not won in almost the same... They haven't won in my lifetime. The Jets haven't won in my lifetime. Why are the Knicks fans all giddy and dumb? Like, never an AFC Championship game where I'm like, the Jets got it locked, baby. Like, ring it up. No, they're going to lose.
Yeah, what is this good feeling based in?
Yeah, it's like dumb. Like, I get, going and celebrating and like, I get why the tickets are expensive and I understand all of that. But I don't understand the, like, Brunson's the best Knick ever. Like, how would you know? Like, what do you know if he's the best Nick ever?
And he's not. But
no, he's not. But
it's
just ridiculous. There's guys that won 2 championships. How are they not? Like, Brunson's the best Nick ever. This is the best Nick team. Like, a lot of people. And, every pundit is a Knicks fan, and they're cynical about everything else. Stephen A. Smith, who is very talented, he's so cynical about the Cowboys, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he never comes, and he's a Cowboys fan. I know this because he's a talented broadcaster. Everyone pays attention to him. But with the Knicks, it's like everyone gets all, like, not cheerleaderly and dumb.
Yeah, Stephen A., who says that Brunson is the best Nick ever if they win, which is not true.
Not everyone agrees with you that Stephen A. Smith is the best.
I think mostly cheers. It was loud and it was very enthusiastic.
Mr. President, ESPN commentator Stephen A. Smith, who was talking about running for president, said he would blame you if the Knicks lost the game. How do you respond to that?
I think he's a nice guy, but you need a certain aptitude to run for president. You need a high IQ. I'm not sure that Stephen has that. I don't think he does, actually.
I just, whatever with the Stephen A. Smith stuff, my funny thing is, like, a lot of cheers,
I know.
Like, what do you care?
Biggest cheer ever. Biggest cheer ever anybody's ever gotten.
It's booze. But the thing is that, like, if I'm the president, like, even as the equivalent of him talking about the crowd booing him and saying there's a lot of cheers and, like, caring about that would be the equivalent of me caring that lunatic at the golf tournament yesterday thought I did nights. Do you understand? Like, it should mean nothing to him that a crowd of 18,000 would boo him or cheer him. Yeah, sure, you're going to be polarizing. You're the president of the United States. Like, you're above cheers and boos. Who cares?
Nope.
But no. Nope. It's like he's very into ratings and cheering. Anyway, the Knicks lost, and that was glorious. All right, we'll be back. We have fart monitor talk to get to.
Yeah.
We'll be back in just a moment.